Okay, here we are again. I'll keep making these videos until someone responsible of arresting muhoozi does. So the Uganda Human Rights Commission, which is the body that is supposed to watch over, human rights in Uganda, has been doing a terrible job. A very terrible job. However, this time around, the chairperson, Wangadia, decided to say enough is enough. I'm not going to sit back as, human rights violations are happening here and there, and people are getting away with it, And of course, we all know Muhoozi gets opposition member Eddie Mutwe tortures him. For context, for those who didn't know, Muhoozi is a president's son in Uganda. He is the first son, who also happens to be a drunkard, who also happens to be a torturer, an abductor, and brags about it on X. But also on top of that, he is the chief of the defense forces in Uganda. He's the CDF. He heads the military of Uganda, to put it in other words. So Wangadia, the chairperson of the Uganda Human Rights Commission, was like, no, this is wrong. And for the first time, she's like, not for the first time, okay, one of those few cases, and I give her credit because a lot of people kept quiet in this scenario. So, but yeah, still it's a bare minimum, and we can't keep settling for the bare minimum. So she comes out, she makes a statement condemning the charging of Eddie Mutwe, who was later dumped in some court and sent to jail. So a man was tortured, beaten, his photo shared around by the torturer president's son, and still the man was sent to jail, remanded to jail, even when we know that this was an illegality in the first place. Now guess what? Muhoozi comes out replying to Wangadia, scaring her that she could be the next to face the wrath of his, abductions and all that stuff. And for me, the fundamental question I have to ask is, who does Muhoozi think he is? Who gives him the courage to be the person that he is? And to be honest, that it takes me back to one person, the president. And we cannot claim that Museveni is a weak man, because Museveni is the same man that orders for the torturing of other people's children, for their arrest, for their murder, and all that stuff. Disappearances, shootings, and comes on screen and says, the police was trying to keep law and order. Whoever gets in their way, they will take up any measures to prevent, that from happening. But what he means by disturbing the peace of other people is simply belonging to an opposition political party and being part of a rally that would be running just like it would be running for his party in the NRM. And if a man has the ability to do all those things, and pretend he can't hold his son accountable, and the reputation of his son is not a new thing. Everyone in Uganda knows for the longest time possible that Muhoozi is a drunkard. He has been a brat, a spoiled brat, who can't do much with the power that, his father has amassed, not the good schools he has gone to, really. He has not done much out of all those situations and privileges. So we all know that even knowing that kind of background, he chooses to put this man in charge of all the military equipment in this country. A madman. A madman. And when I say madman, I just want you to go on X and search for Muhoozi Kainerugaba and see what the CDF tweets. He tweets about beheading people. He tweets about bombs of women. He tweets about abducting people. He is posting pictures of, someone he has abducted and tortured and asking people what they can do about it. But still the president goes ahead to put this person as a leader. And this is of the army. Of the army. And for me, this really shows me that Museveni is not a democratic person. Like, democracy has never been his ideology, and that's why he had to put someone in charge of the army that he knows he can trust, a family member, one he can toss up and down, and in case he wanted, in case people rose up to speak or defend themselves against injustices, he always knew that the army would be a call away. His son would always be willing to command, because they have similar minds, only that one publicly does it and one hides it, So this is a reflection. Muhoozi is a reflection of who Museveni is. It's like staring into the soul of Museveni. That's who muhoozi is. And that's why it really disturbs me to even imagine that in the coming elections, there are going to be people that are going to vote for Museveni because they think he's different from his guys. In this case, yeah, I know there are exceptions, but the apple does not fall far from the tree. So if the fruit is muhoozi, definitely the tree that produced him is Museveni. And you cannot put such a person in power. And of course I know that muhoozi also has aspirations to be a president of this country one day, because he says his father is almost aging and stuff like that. Guys, you shouldn't let that happen. Ugandans, you shouldn't let that happen. Do not do that to yourselves. Do not do that to yourselves. Being led by a madman, go read history and see how being led by narcissistic people can destroy a country, and destroy a people. Yeah, man. So guys, be woke. Resist the NRM. Do not vote anyone. Do not associate yourselves with Pilau, that's PLU, the party that this little boy is trying to create now. You get, apparently, which he will use to take over his father. Be woke, guys. You can rise up and fight for yourselves. Rise up and defend yourselves. You're all you got. Because if this is the man in charge of the military forces of Uganda, if this is the man in charge of the guns, of the tankers, of the bombs, of the tear, imagine all those things, this is the man in charge of them. And if he's worse than his father, imagine that man in power. Imagine that man in power. That's why we need to break the NRM system. Before Museveni dies, we need to break the NRM system. Because once it's broken, our ability to take power is going to be minimal. Because the people with the guns are the wrong people. You get? They are the wrong people. So we have to break the NRM cycle now.